Adebayo's knees hit the cracked pavement as tears blurred his vision. Before him stood Funmi, her dress torn, feet raw with blisters. In her hands glinted his grandfather's stolen crown, beads gleaming under the flickering streetlight. "I walked through 3 states to find this for you," she whispered. The crowd froze. Even the noisy Lagos traffic hushed. Adebayo's hands trembled as he took the crown. His heart pounded like village drums. He had been wrong. So terribly wrong. But let me take you back to where this storm began. But before then, if you are enjoying our African folktale stories, please subscribe to our channel, hit the like button and comment where you are watching from. God bless you. 2 moons earlier, Adebayo, living in the city of Lagos, sat in his beautiful mansion, a billionaire with wealth that could change lives. Yet that night, his heart felt heavy, burdened by the endless demands echoing in his mind. Temi, his daughter, had cried out, "Baba, I need the new iPhone 15. Kola, his son, had begged, "My friends are going to Dubai." Even his relatives had their hands out. Auntie Shade, "My salon needs new generators." Uncle Bayo, "Just lend me 5 million Nigerian nairas." Everyone wanted something, except Funmi. His wife of 20 years, the one person who never asked for a thing. That night, in the dim glow of his mansion's crystal chandelier, Adebayo made a choice that would alter the course of their lives. Gathering his family together, he declared, "We've lost everything. The business has collapsed." Pandemonium erupted. Temi screamed, clutching her designer handbag like it was her lifeline. Kola, angered, kicked over a gold-plated vase. And the relatives? They suddenly remembered urgent appointments. Adebayo shook his head. "We're moving to the village tomorrow. No more rich life." The room went wild. Temi cried, "I need my Instagram." Kola kicked a chair, "This is trash." But Funmi, his wife, stayed calm. "We'll be fine," she said softly. Adebayo watched them all, his test starting right then. Little did she know, this was all a test. The next morning, the family's luxury SUVs were sold. Designer bags. Gone. Temi's Instagram feed. Dead. As they boarded a rickety bus to Ajegunle, Kola hissed, "Baba, this is punishment." But Adebayo's eyes were locked on Funmi, waiting for her to break. She didn't. Instead, she hummed an old Yoruba lullaby, her voice softer than the breeze. Adebayo's chest tightened. He wasn't happy even though it was a pretentious act. The journey continued until they got to their compound. The village was a far cry from the mansion they had known. A single room in Ajegunle since he has many brothers managing other rooms. The roof leaked when heaven cried. Adebayo played his part, hawking biscuits on the roadside, doing whatever he could to survive. But his children? They showed their true colors. Temi sold her sneakers but kept the money for herself. Kola joined the area boys, stealing phones under the cover of night. Auntie Shade moved in with her boyfriend, leaving them to fend for themselves. Uncle Bayo? He never visited again. Yet Funmi? She became the light Adebayo didn't deserve. At 4 a.m., she sold akara at the motor park. By noon, she mended clothes for neighbors. At nightfall, she massaged Adebayo's tired feet, her spirit unbroken. Still, Adebayo doubted her. Would she stay if things got worse? That, my friends, is when he made his fatal mistake. One night, after a long day of work, Adebayo sat in the dimly lit room, his mind racing. He couldn't shake off the worry that gripped him as he thought about the state of his family. His mind drifted to Kola, Shade, and the rest of the family, how they reveled in their wealth, how everything seemed perfect. But as he paused to reflect, a small smile tugged at his lips. At least this situation will show me if my wife truly loves me. Yet, something troubled him further. Why has she remained so calm through it all? He wondered, what if she's only pretending? What if she's planning to leave me once she's had enough? In a fit of frustration, he made a decision that would change everything. "I need you to leave," Adebayo told her the next morning, his voice cold and harsh. He wanted to see if she would break. He needed to know if she would finally admit that she was done. "I'll handle this on my own." Funmi, who had been busy preparing akara for sale, stopped. She turned to him, her eyes steady, and with a soft sigh, she said, "I won't leave, Adebayo. I'm here for you, no matter what." Her words hit him like a slap. Adebayo stood there, staring at her, his heart racing with shame. How could he doubt her? After all she had done for him, for their family. But the test wasn't over yet. 1 month later, Adebayo sat on the porch of their small hut in the village, feeling the weight of his choices. He had finally realized that Funmi was more than just his wife, she was the strength he needed to survive. But it was too late. He had pushed her too far. That was when the storm hit. One evening, as the sky darkened and the air grew thick with tension, a knock came at the door. Adebayo opened it to find Funmi standing there, breathless and covered in dirt. In her hands, glowing under the streetlight, was the crown, the one his family had lost. "I walked through 3 states to find this for you," Funmi whispered, her voice hoarse but determined. Adebayo's heart dropped. The weight of his actions hit him harder than any punishment could. He had tested her, doubted her, and yet here she was, returning the crown that had been stolen from his family. The crowd that had gathered around them fell silent. Even the loud noise of Lagos seemed to pause. Adebayo's hands shook as he took the crown, feeling the weight of his regret in every fiber of his being. He looked up at Funmi, the woman he had underestimated, the one he had doubted. Tears blurred his vision as he realized how wrong he had been. He had questioned her love, her loyalty, and now he saw the truth. He had been wrong. So terribly wrong. Funmi, despite everything, had remained loyal. She had passed the test he had set for her, only she had never known it was a test. She had simply loved him. Adebayo collapsed to his knees, the weight of guilt suffocating him. "I am sorry," he whispered, barely able to speak. Funmi's eyes softened as she stepped closer. "You don't need to apologize," she said, her voice gentle. "I did it because I love you, Adebayo." And in that moment, as the crowd watched silently, Adebayo understood. He had been given a gift, a second chance. But would he be able to prove he was worthy of it? Let's find out. As Adebayo and Funmi stood together in their small, humble village home, Adebayo realized that the wealth he had once taken for granted was not what truly mattered. He had spent years chasing after things, money, power, status, but now he understood that the most valuable thing was the love and respect of his wife and children. Adebayo's mind raced, remembering the moment when he had intentionally pretended to be poor. He had thought it would be a test, that somehow it would reveal Funmi's loyalty, her strength. But now, as he watched her quietly humming that old Yoruba lullaby, her faith in him, despite everything, pierced his heart. He knew what he had to do now. He couldn't keep playing games with her. He had to prove to her, in the most real way possible, that he appreciated everything she had done for him. The day after the incident with the stolen crown, Adebayo called Funmi into their small, dimly lit room. The village was quiet around them, but his heart was racing. He needed to come clean. No more lies, no more pretending. "Funmi," he began, his voice trembling with a mix of fear and guilt. "I need to tell you something. I wasn't completely honest with you about why we moved here. We're not poor. Not even close." Funmi looked at him, her expression soft but confused. "What do you mean?" "I have money, Funmi. A lot of money. The business I told you collapsed. It didn't. I wanted to test you, see if you'd leave me if things got tough. I wanted to see if you'd break. I thought I needed to see you fail, so I could justify my own failures." His voice cracked as the weight of his own selfishness finally hit him. Funmi stood still, her eyes wide in disbelief. A tear slipped down her cheek, but she didn't say a word. She had suspected something was off, but hearing it from him was different. "I was wrong," Adebayo continued, his chest tight with regret. "I thought I needed to test you. But all this time, you've been the one holding us together, even when I was too blind to see it. I'm sorry." Funmi took a deep breath. "Why, Adebayo? Why would you do that?" Adebayo sank to his knees, his voice breaking. "Because I didn't think I deserved you. I didn't think I deserved any of this. But I'm ready now. I'm ready to be the man you've always seen in me." Funmi didn't speak immediately. Instead, She helped him to his feet. "You've hurt me," she said quietly. "But I've never left. I never will." Adebayo felt a tear well in his own eye. He had put her through so much, yet here she was still standing by him. The days after Adebayo's confession were not easy. Funmi, though still loyal, had a lot to process. She spent the next few days quietly reflecting, and Adebayo gave her space to heal. But he didn't sit idly by. He knew he had to earn back her trust. Adebayo began by taking full responsibility for the house and family. No more pretending. No more tests. He treated Funmi with the respect she had always deserved, not as a subservient wife, but as an equal partner in everything they did. He helped her with the chores, the small errands around the village, and even supported her business ventures with an honest heart. He didn't just bring his wealth back into the household. He used his resources to help the village too. He invested in small businesses for the local traders, and the villagers started to see him not as a man who had come from money, but as someone who genuinely wanted to help. He transformed the lives of many, making a real difference. As for the children, the changes in their father didn't go unnoticed. Temi and Kola, who had once been spoiled and selfish, slowly started to change as well. Adebayo didn't just give them money and luxury. He gave them lessons in humility and hard work. Temi, who had once been obsessed with social media and designer brands, began helping Funmi with the akara business. She learned how to make it, and her attitude towards work changed. No longer was she focused on Instagram likes or the newest iPhone, she was learning how to create something from nothing. Kola, who had been involved in petty crime, was slowly pulled away from the area boys. Adebayo found work for him, jobs that required responsibility and integrity. It was hard for Kola at first, but as time passed, he grew to appreciate the sense of accomplishment that came from working for something he could call his own. Months passed, and life began to settle. Adebayo's business, though not as flashy as before, was thriving in a new, honest way. He built a new house for Funmi and the children, not a palace, but a real home, one they could all be proud of. On a warm evening, as the sun set over the village, Adebayo stood in front of their new home, his family gathered around him. Funmi, Temi, and Kola stood with him, each of them smiling, content in a way they had never been before. Adebayo turned to Funmi, his heart full. "I know I can't undo the past. But I'll spend every day proving that I'm worthy of the love you've shown me." Funmi smiled, her eyes filled with understanding. "You already have," she said softly, taking his hand. The sound of children laughing and playing in the background filled the air, and Adebayo knew, in that moment, that his test was over. It wasn't about wealth or status. It wasn't about what he could give them in material terms. It was about the love and loyalty they had built together. And he was finally worthy of it.